Hi students, we're going to do some min and max word problems. Now, this is review. You've already seen these questions, but we're going to solve them a different way. So in previous unit, we graphed it and then solved it in that way. We're going to use derivatives to solve these. So I'm actually going to skip the first two questions because I'm going to have you guys try those, and I'm going to do the last two with you. So we're going to start with number 3. It says a farmer has 360 feet of fencing to enclose a rectangular plot. He also wants to divide the plot into 2 sections by placing a fence in the middle of the plot. What's the maximum area and what are the dimensions? So we're going to draw a picture like we have before. Okay, and then I'm going to have these all be the same. So these are all X. Now we have 360 feet of fencing for the whole thing. So our longer side is 360 minus the 3x's, and then we got to divide by 2 because we have 2 equal sides. So area, length times width, x times. Now what you might want to do is divide by 2. That might make it a little easier. So 360 divided by 2 is 180. And then minus 1.5x. And then what we're going to do is we are going to distribute. And of course, I like to write it in order because it's a parabola. So I'm going to actually write negative 1.5x squared first plus 180x. Okay, so think about it. Again, this is a parabola. It's negative, right? So when we graphed it, it looked like this. Okay, and if I want the maximum area, I want to know when is the slope equal to 0. There's my maximum. So if I do the derivative, it's when the derivative is equal to 0. That always gives us our mins and maxes. So we're going to find the derivative first, so a prime. So I'm going to bring that down. I get negative 3x plus 180. And then we're going to set that equal to 0. So negative 3x equals negative 180. Divided by negative 3. X equals 60. Okay, so I have this is 60. So I want to plug it in to find my longer side. So if I plug in 360 minus 3 times 60 divided by 2, I get 90. So those are the dimensions of the plot. Remember, it's 90 is the whole side, 60 is just the other side. Now, if the question said, what are the individual pen area dimensions? I'd have to do 90 divided by 2, so it'd be 60 by 45, because these would each be 45. Okay, second question, or I guess I did the second one first. What's the maximum area? So 60 times 90 is 5,400, and that's feet squared, and this is feet. Okay, so I think it's kind of a quicker way to do it. You don't have to mess with the graph. Of course, on the test for derivatives, you will have to use derivatives, and then if this were to show up on the final, you would get the option. Let's try one more together. 2 non-negative numbers have a sum of 72. The product of one number and the cube of the other is a maximum. Find both numbers. Okay, x plus y equals 72. Do we agree with that? Sure. Okay, so if I were to solve for y, remember the first number is x, right? I have x as my 2 numbers. So we want our answer in terms of x. So if I were to get x alone, or if I get to get y alone, it'd be 72 minus x. So my 2 numbers are x and 72 minus x. So those are my 2 numbers. The product of one of these numbers and the cube of the other is a maximum. So those are my 2 numbers. I have to cube one of the numbers. The easiest one to cube is probably the x squared. So the cube of one of the numbers times the other one is a maximum. So first thing I'm going to do is find the product. 72 x to the third minus 4x to the fourth. So that's my product. Okay. And I want this to be a maximum. So to find the max, I need the derivative. So derivative oh, there shouldn't be a 4 there, huh? Okay, that looks better. Sorry, I don't know why to put the 4 there. Okay, so we're going to do the derivative. So if I do the derivative, I'm going to get 216x squared minus 4x to the third. Okay, and then to solve it, I need to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to rewrite this so it's in order. Negative 4x to the third plus 216x squared. All right, so I can factor out an x squared. So I have negative 4x plus 216. And then if I set each one equal to 0, over here I'm going to get x equals 0. And then over here, for x equals 216, x equals 54. Okay, so my first number is 54. That's what x equals, because I want non-negative numbers. Well, 0 is nothing. So my other number, if I plug 54 in, 72 minus 54 is 18. And you can check it. 54 plus 18 is 72. And then if you were to cube one of the numbers and multiplied it, you should get a maximum. Okay, try the other two questions. So question 1 and question 2. And we will go over the answers in class.